The opinions expressed on the X and Y show are the sole opinions of the host. Please note, there is no intentional desire to offend any member of the listening audience. With that said, if you still feel offended, tough shit.
It's time for the X and Y show with your host, Mr. Roosevelt. He talks about man topics, lady topics, and relationships. He talks about love, sex, and infidelities. He even gives good tips. There is no other show that compares to the X and Y show.
Oh yeah. Sit back, take your clothes off, and relax. It's time for the X and Y show, where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. The only place on the planet that tackles the topics that everyone wants to talk about, but no one is brave enough to address. Nothing escapes X and Y, baby. Now, here's your host, Roosevelt Colbert.
And greetings. Welcome to another segment of the X and Y show. I'm your host, Roosevelt. And from my last episode, I did a special episode Monday, and I said that it would be a landslide. I was wrong. We're still in the middle of this shit. But what can I say? I was wrong. Shit. But you know, we still got some time to go, and they're still counting votes. So that's all I'm going to say on that, because, you know, this show is about getting your mind off of everyday bullshit that's going on. So I'm not going to dedicate an episode to that, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. So let's move on. Glad to be back and for another week of the show. I hope you are enjoying my shows. Keep sending me feedback, and I really appreciate that. I really thank you guys who share my content, and the more you do that, the more it helps me. So I really appreciate that. You know, I was thinking about the day. You remember the first nut that you had? Like the first time you had sex, you know, you remember the first time you had that you got that first nut. Oh, but you know, that was such a great feeling. You know, I you know, it's something that I've been trying to get for my whole life. But you probably never get that first nut back. You know, it'll never be that good anymore. You know, like you hear drug addicts always say that first time they got high is never the same, and they're always trying to get the same high as that first high. You know, I think that's the same thing when you're nutting. You'll never get back to that first nut. You know, that first nut, I probably nutted probably a half a gallon. I mean, I thought I was having a seizure. I mean, that shit was, you guys remember that. Come on now. Anyway, that's just something I was thinking about today. All right, let me get into these comments and questions. The first one is from Thelma. Thelma says, you don't believe in open marriages. You might be a little boring when it comes to sex. Here we go. Do you even eat pussy? You know, yes, Thelma, I do eat pussy. I have no problem with eating pussy. It amazes me how, you know, some people believe that just because you don't believe in some things that they believe in, or some things that they're doing, that you might be boring. And that's the total opposite from me, you know, because I have some real good dick, you know, real good dick. And I'm not just bragging anything. I'm not just saying that just to be bragging or sounding like I'm this mad lover or something. But I'm just telling the truth. I got some real good dick. So just because I don't believe in open marriages, to say that I'm boring, that's a little asinine. But I hear you, Thelma. But to answer your question, I do eat pussy. But I don't eat anybody pussy. I eat my wife pussy, or, well, I'm not married, but for my wife or my girlfriend, I don't eat anybody pussy. So, but to answer your question, yes, I do. Boring. The next one is from Stan. Stan says, I'm 40 and I just had my first experience with an older woman. She is 62. I'm in love. I understand what you're always saying about older women now. And that's cool, Stan. I tell a lot of my friends that, older women are the best. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Older women know how to fuck better. Older women usually have hairier pussies because when they're older, they don't give a fuck about all that shit anymore. It's about V's, shaving in a V shape and, pretty rolls and all that bullshit. Older women, they have a hairy pussy and they're like, if you don't want it, get the fuck out of my face then. It is what it is. And I like that because, you listen to the show, I like hairy pussies. So older women tend to have a hairy pussies. They can fuck better. They take care of you better. They're more loving. They're more caring. It's almost like they finally get it, when they get older. And it's not that I need a mother figure. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just a different type of experience with an older woman. You younger women need to take notes, really. That's why a lot of times my people that I know, they're not worried about me getting with my their sister or anything. They're worried about their mother. Roosevelt, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm going to jump into this week's episode. In lieu of what's going on, I thought I should talk about it because I thought it was a very interesting topic that's relevant to a lot of people. And the topic is, can politics end relationships, marriages, and friendships? I repeat, can politics end relationships, marriages, and friendships? I thought about doing this episode. I was watching CNN, and I've seen Mary Madeline and James Carville. If you don't know, they're big time political figures in D.C. I think they live in Louisiana now, but they're a power couple. They're a power political couple. I think Mary Madeline had inner dealings with the Bushes, and James Carville was with the Clintons, and so they're big. James Carville is a Democrat, and Mary Madeline is a Republican. And I thought that was interesting. They appear to get along well. They've been married for 20-something years or whatever, or 30 years. 30-some years, I would guess. So they appear to get along pretty good. And I always was amazed by that. How could they get along so well when they think so differently when it comes to politics? And I asked myself, can you be married to someone with a total opposite political views as you do? And initially I would say no. And that's really sad that it has to be no. You figure that something as simple as politics, it shouldn't be that serious. But unfortunately, it is. It is. And, in my opinion, it's a very toxic environment if you're married to someone with different political views. Now, I know a lot of you saying, well, I would never marry anyone that has different political views as I do, or, But what about 10 years from now? What if, when you got married, you both are Republicans. 10 years from now, one of you are a Democrat. Time changes people. Or, what if that happens? Then what? You're going to get a divorce because he or she changed their political affiliation. So, you can't really go by that either. But, and speaking of that, I want to tell you about a story that I read about on GoldbergJones.com. It said one of the most highly politicized instances was a 73-year-old retired California prison guard, Gail McCormick, ending a marriage of 22 years because her husband voted for Trump. She said she felt betrayed and called it a deal breaker. So after 22 years, she divorced her husband just because he voted for Donald Trump. Now, I'm not going to totally believe that was the only issue. I think that for her to divorce him after 22 years, there had to be other issues as well. And she said that it was the deal breaker. So they probably was already having problems, but that was the cherry on top. That was the last straw that broke the camel's back. So she had a divorce because of that. But, like I said, when you think about that, that someone after 22 years would actually get a divorce from someone just because they voted for a particular person. What does it say about our society that it comes to that point, that it's so toxic that we can't have different political views from one another? Me personally, I don't, now if you've seen some of my tweets, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I'll say it. I don't hate the man. I don't know him. I don't know Donald Trump. I don't know him. I don't hate him. But I disagree with his politics. But I don't hate him. But, could I get with a woman who supports Donald Trump? That would, damn, that would be very tricky. That'd be very tricky. But like I said, even if I did, that would be like a very toxic environment. It's like, one thing setting something off, and then it gets to a really bad situation. So, it's something that you always have to watch all the time. It's almost like being the like you're Dave Banner, Incredible Hulk. You got to watch yourself from getting angry because, you might turn into the Hulk. So it's always there, and I feel that when you're in a relationship or a marriage or a friendship of that nature, it's always, you have to watch yourself. You have to watch what you say. You have to, really take care of, not to offend someone from saying the wrong thing. Otherwise an argument will start, And I don't know personally if I could be married to someone like that where anything could jump off at any moment because of political views. Reading something else from Goldberg. It says that the responses, they did a survey. McCormick is far from... They did a poll. Over 6,000 people taken between December 2016 and January 2017 found that 60% of those who responded stopped talking to a friend or family member after the election. A friend or family member after the election. This extends to the world of social media as well. 17% of people said they blocked friends or family on the same grounds. Now, like I said, this will be a very toxic relationship. I mean, a marriage or a relationship is already more, hard as it is. And, you are in a relationship or a marriage, you're in a toxic environment, anything can happen. It's like owning a rattlesnake. Sooner or later, it's going to get out. It's going to bite you. Then you're not speaking to each other. You're not communicating with each other. You're mad. And you're not fucking. And that's not a good relationship or a good marriage, or, platonic friendship as well. You're not being friends anymore. Just because of, for what? For some motherfucker in the White House or some person in the Senate or governor's mansion, etc. But it's not the person, is it? It's the ideology, right? That's what it is. And that's what makes it so deep. It's not just a person, it's the ideology. It's how the person, what they're saying, and the spouse or the friend or whatever it is, they're agreeing with that same ideology. That's what it's about. That's what it makes it so deep. So what about it? What about a relationship? Would you start a relationship? I already said, me personally, I don't know if I can marry someone with different political views. I know someone you say that's ridiculous. And it is. It is ridiculous. But, I don't think that I would want to be in a relationship a marriage that is a volcano that I always have to watch. I always have to watch what I say. I always have to, be walking around eggshells and, what I do and what I say when I'm talking about a political view or a political situation. I don't think I want to be in an environment like that. But that's just me. How about you? Could you marry someone with different political views? Could you be like that? That's something you have to ask yourself. What about relationships, before you get married? So obviously if you have a relationship with someone, you can, probably marry them so it doesn't bother you. But would you even start a relationship with a person with a different political affiliation? And some of you have automatically, you start right off, no. Well, what if she's the one? What if he's the one? I've seen ads on various different apps, dating apps, where women say, no Trumpers. They let you know if you're a supporter of Trump, swipe left or whatever it is. They don't even, some women, they don't want anything to do with it. Some say if you're a Republican, swipe left. But mostly I've seen it, no Trumpers. That's what I've seen. A lot of women say that. So I think it's something that definitely is very relevant in today's society, especially how toxic it is and polarized it is. People actually don't want someone with a different political view. Or maybe it's just Trump. Because, I've had girlfriends in the past that, she was a different, she was a Republican, and, I had no problem with that. I'm not a Republican, but I had no problem with it, because it was, I guess it wasn't as a polarized society as it was back then, as it is today. And the Republican politicians weren't Trump. I mean, he's different. So I think that's probably what it is. Maybe I should have named the show Can Trump end relationships, marriages, or friendships? That's what I probably should have said. Because I think it's not so much as different parties, it's different people, particularly Trump. But like I said, what if she's the one? What if he's the one? A lot of you always, some of you say, if you're this way, don't swipe left. I don't want anything to do with you. So it's definitely important in society. Now, I mentioned that segment about friendship, where people blocked family members and friends. I'm guilty of that myself. There's some friends that I've known since elementary school that I say, I can't take this motherfucker no more. I'm going to end up kicking this motherfucker's ass because some of the shit they say on Facebook or whatever, Twitter, whatever it is, mostly Facebook. I said, I'm going to kick this motherfucker's ass. Let me unfriend him now. You know, it's just life is too stressful to be stressed out on Facebook about political views. You know, every time you make a comment on something, this motherfucker coming behind you. Oh, that's not true. Blah, 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 blah. You know, it's just like, you know, really, you know, it's just very toxic. And it's very frustrating. But, you know, you think about it, you know, like I said, these are people that a lot of people, after Trump got elected, people that I've known since I was in elementary school. And I've unfriended and totally cut them out of my life because, you know, not because they have different political views. It's more like some of the things they've said, some of the views that they've voiced on Facebook. And I'm like, damn, I've known this motherfucker all my life. I didn't know he felt that way or she felt that way, you know. And I will give Trump a lot of credit. I mean, he brought out the truth in many people. So, like I said before, it's not so much of Democrat and Republican. I think that is more of a Trump thing, you know. So I've lost a lot of friends, so-called friends. You might call them acquaintances, really. Just a bunch of motherfuckers I just know. You just can't call them friends, but people that I've known or dealt with my whole life, all of a sudden, because some motherfucker get elected, you know, we're no longer down. We're no longer cool. You know, what kind of society, you know, are we in? I know a dude that I was in the military with. You know, we've known each other for 20 years, some long time, and I didn't know some views that he had. You know, I was like, damn, you feel that way? You saying all this shit? I'd have known that I'd have beat your ass 20 years. But I'm like, you know, damn, so I gotta cut you out. And a lot of these motherfuckers, I'm gonna tell you, that I've cut out is so much better. It's far less stressful. You know, every time you go on Facebook or something like that, or everything you do, you know, you got some motherfucker coming in behind you. Oh, no, that's not the... You talk about Trump, what about Obama? I don't want to hear that shit. And it's far less stressful now. But was it worth it? Was it worth it? Was it worth losing a friendship or acquaintanceship, you know, with someone that you've known your life? Was it worth losing a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Was it worth losing a husband or a wife? You know, for some motherfucker that just in the White House or like in a governor's mansion or whatever. Was it really worth it? How bad has society become? You know, that we now are deleting motherfuckers out of our lives because they think differently. You know, or maybe it was always like that, but it's just being augmented by social media, the presence of social media and so forth. And that's a possibility as well. But, you know, I think that that's a very sad place that we are in right now, society. You know, it's no longer where you're allowed to think differently. Oh, you think different? You go over there. We're all the B's. You need to go with the A's. You know, and then you got the progressives. You know, oh, we're the C's. You need to go over to the A's and the B's. You know, you got all these shit. There was a book. God damn, I can't remember the name of that damn book. Fuck. Oh, man. But it was the name of the book where it was a society where they separated different people. You know, they were destined to be certain things. It was the alphas and the betas, the deltas. It was different people that, and they couldn't associate, like the alphas couldn't associate with the betas, and so forth. So it was a book, and I was like, damn, we're going more to that book. I can't think of the name. Next time next episode, I'm going to get the name of that damn book. I read it back in high school, and so it was a long time ago, but damn, I can't think of the name of that book. But anyway, we're turning into a society where we don't want to interact with people with different views. And I think that is a bad way. That's a bad thing that has happened in our society. And I think that it's going to get worse. I hope I'm wrong, but I really do think it's going to get worse. It's going to be to the point where, if you're a Democrat, you're a Democrat. I only associate with Democrats. If you're a Republican, I only associate with Republicans. Get out of here. Oh, no, I'm not either. I'm a moderate. I'm only associate. All these different views, but, views of people who want to be together and not be with people who think differently. I think that's what makes a society better. When people interact with each other who are different. So you learn different things from different people. You learn from their perspectives and you become a better person. So that's something as a society that we should strive to do better in interacting with people who think differently, including myself. I'm guilty as this as well. Like I said, it was easy to hit the unfriend button than to deal with this motherfucker saying all this fucked up shit. So it's easy to hit the unfriend button. Fuck that motherfucker. Let me unfriend him before I had to go kick his ass, And it's easy, it's a deletion and, you don't need the stress. But, that's something maybe I shouldn't have done. Maybe I should have said, why do you feel that way? And that's something that maybe I should have talked with the person more. And I don't want to get you wrong. It's not like they said one thing and I unfriend them immediately. No, this is something over the years. Basically, when Trump got elected, so I lost a lot of friends throughout his presidency, like 2018. So this took like 2-3 years. I didn't just unfriend motherfuckers, but it was a process. But I lost a lot. I lost a lot of acquaintances. Motherfuckers I know or whatever. People I've been in the military with, people I've known since elementary school. I've lost them because of, some motherfuckers sitting in the White House. I lost them because we think differently on certain issues. What does that say about me? What does that say about society? There's a lot of people who have lost friends, acquaintances, husbands, wives. What does that say about us as a society? Will it get better or will it get worse? I truly believe that it will get worse. I just think it's something that it has started and it's going to grow. It's going to be a snowball effect. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I was wrong about the election. But, I was wrong in the sense that I thought it would be a landslide. I did say Biden would win, so that's still out there. But I hope I'm wrong. Maybe society will change, where people who actually different political affiliations can interact with one another again. Political discrimination. And that's some shit. You got to worry about color. You got to worry about religion discrimination. Now it's political discrimination. Motherfuckers discriminating against you because you're a Republican or because you're a Democrat. Can't get a girlfriend, a girl don't even want to talk to you if you support a certain candidate. What have we become in society that we've gotten to this point? So I ask you the question, Can politics end relationships, marriages, and friendships? What has politics done for you? Has it ended a friendship for you? Has it ended a relationship for you or a marriage for you? Has it made a very toxic environment with one of your family members? How has politics affected you as a person? Do you think it's going to get better? Do you think it's going to get worse? What are you going to do about it? Do you want to do anything about it? That's questions you have to ask yourself. And when it all boils down to, is it really worth it? Certain motherfucker in the White House or governor's mansion, wherever, they're going to be gone in 4 years. Is it really worth it? Is it that serious? That's something you have to answer yourself. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the XY Show. Be sure to check out my show on every venue that you love. I'm on iHeart. Oh, yes, I am on iHeart. Going crazy. Spotify. I'm on Podbreed Network. Check out Podbreed. It's a very good network of a lot of great indie shows. I'm on iHeart. I already said that. I'm on Spotify. I'm on TuneIn. I'm on Spreaker, Stitcher, Castbox, and I'm on Apple, of course. So be sure to check me out. Be sure that you subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it. Leave a comment. Say that you love me. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram. For social media, you can find everything, my platforms, as well as my social media on my website, which is www.thexyshow.com, www.thexyshow.com. You can find everything there. There's a contact form. You can talk to me, give constructive criticisms if you would like to do so. You can say hello, leave me comments, write me a letter, and I'll read it online if I choose it. So be sure to check out my website as well. So without further ado, and by the way, I'm working on getting the store up. I'm going to do that before Thanksgiving, so keep a check out for that. So hopefully you'll buy some shirts and show one that you love the XY Show. So without further ado, I'm going to leave you with that, and I will see you next week. And I want you always to remember that you cannot have love without X and Y. Later.
You've been listening to The X and Y Show with your host, Roosevelt Colbert, the place where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. Join us next time. You can now put your clothes back on. Or not.